Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, get ready because today we're going to completely flip the script on how you view social dynamics, friendships, and loyalty. We are unpacking this profound paradigm shift. It's something that seems so incredibly common in our daily lives, but it hides a totally different layer of meaning when you actually stop and look closely. You know, we live in this hyper-interconnected world where conversations are literally happening constantly, in front of us, and yeah, behind closed doors. Understanding the unspoken rules of these interactions, it's absolutely crucial for protecting your peace of mind. So let's look at the architecture of silent betrayal.
So let's dive right into this, because this question cuts straight to the core of our personal experiences. I mean, we've all been there, right? You find out someone's been saying things about you in your absence, and our immediate visceral reaction is almost always to focus entirely on the person doing the talking. We get angry at the gossiper, we feel stung by their words, and we spend days analyzing why they would say such things. But as we're going to see in this explainer, we might actually be focusing all that precious emotional energy on the entirely wrong person. Section 1. The illusion of gossip, looking past the rumor. Our source material kicks off with this deeply relatable anecdote. So, picture this. One day, a man is approached by an acquaintance, basically an informer. And this informer comes up, maybe leans in a little bit close, lowers their voice into that familiar conspiratorial tone, and says, "You know, they've been saying a lot about you." It's that classic hook of gossip, right? It's designed to pull you in to make you ask, wait, who? What did they say? It completely feeds on our natural insecurity and curiosity. Usually in that exact moment, our heart just drops. We brace for impact, feeling that sharp sting of betrayal, and we instantly want to know exactly what was said so we can try to defend ourselves against this phantom critic who isn't even in the room.
But the man doesn't take the bait. Instead, he just pauses, looks right at the informer, and delivers this absolute showstopper of a reply. He says, "Don't tell me what they said. Tell me why they were so comfortable saying it around you." Wow. So the crucial point is right here. He instantly reframes the entire interaction. He shifts the spotlight completely away from the absent gossiper and shines it brightly and kinda uncomfortably directly onto the person standing right in front of him. It's literally a masterclass in emotional intelligence. He refuses to participate in the drama of the unseen attacker, and instead he demands absolute accountability from the messenger.
And then, silence filled the room. Just let that sink in for a second. Imagine the sudden, heavy realization hitting that informer. It is a brilliant, immediate shutdown because it exposes a really harsh reality. By coming to share the gossip, the informer thought they were playing the role of the loyal friend, bringing a warning. But that one single question completely dismantled their cover. It totally stripped away the illusion of loyalty. Section 2. The anatomy of silent betrayal, mechanics of rumors.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core dynamic at play. On one side, we have the gossip, the actual words spoken. And counterbalancing that, we have the boundaries, the environment that permitted those words. We're so culturally conditioned to obsess over the gossip itself, aren't we? We dissect the words, the tone, the intention of the speaker, but the architecture of this betrayal is built entirely on the boundaries, or actually scratch that, it's built on the lack thereof. The words themselves, they're cheap. It's the lack of boundaries that actually give those words a place to live. Without a willing audience, the gossip simply dies in the air.
So let's break down the ecosystem of a rumor here. First, negative words are spoken in your absence. Okay, that's a given. But the second point is where the magic happens. That conversation has to be welcomed or at least tolerated by others. When someone speaks negatively about you and the people listening welcome that conversation by staying silent, maybe nodding, or even just continuing to listen without pushing back, well, it moves us to the third point. It reveals deeper truths well beyond what the words ever could. It reveals that the listener was a safe harbor for disrespect against you. Think about the psychology of a safe harbor. It's a place where ships come to drop anchor because the waters are calm and inviting. When someone listens to gossip about you without objection, they are actively telling the speaker, "Hey, my presence is a calm, inviting place for your disrespect." That is a massive psychological shift in how we view the passive listeners in our lives.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. The power of boundaries, setting the standard. The source material hits us with this profound takeaway. The real issue isn't always the gossip itself. The real issue is the company people keep and the boundaries they allow. An enabler who provides a safe space for someone to tear you down is just as complicit as the person doing the tearing down. If a friend sits quietly while your character is assassinated, their silence is effectively an agreement. They've drawn a boundary, and unfortunately, defending you was not inside of it. We often give people a pass, right? We say things like, well, they didn't start it, or they were just listening.
But in the mechanics of social dynamics, passive listening to character assassination is a highly active choice. It's a choice to let your name be devalued.
Section 4. Redefining true trust. Metric for loyalty.
We need a completely new working definition for loyalty. And here it is, drawn directly from our source. Trust is measured by who defends your name when you're not there. It's a fantastic, actionable definition. Just think about how liberating this is. Anyone, literally anyone, can criticize you in your absence. It takes zero courage and zero effort. But true loyalty, that requires action. It requires an active defense. It requires someone actually possessing the social courage to interrupt the flow of conversation and say, hey, they aren't here to defend themselves, and I'm not going to let you speak about them that way. That level of integrity is the only real metric of trust. It's what separates the passive bystanders from the genuine protectors of your character. We spend so much emotional energy worrying about who talks about us. We stress over the critics, the whisperers, the people who just intentionally misunderstand us. We let their invisible judgments dictate our moods and our confidence. But this explainer proves that those critics are entirely irrelevant. Who sits at your table is all that matters. I mean it, who sits at your table matters infinitely more than who talks about you in the shadows. If the people at your table, your inner circle, your trusted friends, are the ones actively defending your name when you step away, you've won. The gossip simply cannot touch you because it has absolutely no place to land near you. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought from our source material to really let these concepts sink in. Ask yourself this and be really honest with the answer. What's more painful, the person who talks behind your back or the person who lets them? It completely shifts how you look at the people around you, doesn't it? When you realize the true power of the audience, it changes how you evaluate every single relationship in your life. I would love to hear how you navigate these boundaries and define loyalty in your own circles. Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and let's keep this absolutely crucial conversation going.